Now, on the 11th of January this year, there was also another story in our sister publication, The Chronicle, and it read, a 17-year-old girl from Gwanda suffering from Down syndrome is 6 months pregnant after she was sexually abused by several people from her area, including her 16-year-old brother. The teenager alleges that she was first raped by an unidentified man who dragged her to a bushy area before sexually abusing her. She has also revealed that a 17-year-old neighbor, her young brother, and his friends have also sexually abused her several times. The girl, who stays with her aunt, did not report the abuse, and the matter came to light in November last year after her aunt suspected that she was pregnant. The family, however, did not report the matter to the police, and authorities learned about the matter last week after a ward coordinator from Nkomwa Foundation Trust, a disability organization, identified the girl and then launched an investigation and later reported the case to the police. Now, according to statistics, 1 in every 3 women aged 15 to 49 in Zimbabwe have experienced physical violence, and about 1 in 4 women have experienced sexual violence since the age of 15. And so tonight we are focusing on violence on girls and women with disabilities and the action they can take to seek a legal remedy. And to help me with this discussion, I have in the studio Vegitemba Mlauzi, who is the Director of Lawyers with Disabilities. And joining us on the line is Norman Modadisi, an advocacy officer at Nkomwa Foundation Trust. Good evening, gentlemen, and welcome to the program.
Good evening, listeners. I hope you are doing well today.
And Norman. Hello, Norman.
Hello.
Hi, can you hear us now?
Yes, I hear you loud and clear. Good evening, viewers. Good evening, Satue.
Thank you so much. For those who are following us live, we are streaming live on Facebook, our Facebook page, Star FM Zimbabwe. You can follow us there, or alternatively, you can join in the conversation and send in your contributions via our WhatsApp platform on 0775 897 897 0775 897 So I will start with you, Norman. If you can just give us a brief recollection on how your organization came to know about the case of the 17-year-old girl who is now pregnant and the current update, if there are any arrests.
Okay, thank you, Spatisima. As an organization that works with PWDs, we had a disability champion who reside at Ward 2 Dadata. We received a tip-off as an organization from our ward representative. Then we first had to do our investigation as an organization. Then later on, we had to lodge the case to the police, the VFU, on how the case can be handled, and we further engaged the ward rep to dig more on the details. Later, the organization has to sponsor the victim and the caregiver and NFT ward rep to come to Gwanda. We assisted them to go report the case to the police, and we had to further take it to the hospital for further management in terms of medical attention. That's where we had to discover that the girl, she's already 6 months pregnant. And then as for now, what I can say, we don't have the results on the arrest. We are still waiting for the police for further investigations. From there, maybe we can get a tangible answer on what happened.
Okay, I'll come to you, Becky Timber. It's good to see you after quite some time. We last had our conversation last year, and I actually thank God that we are here again tonight. Thank you so much for
Thank
making
you.
time. So, from the story of those 17-year-old girl, um, the facts are that the family did not make a police report. What then should community members do if they suspect? Because kazhinji vanhu vanozofunga kuti zvisi zvedu pamwe taakupindira munyaya dzemhuri. Isusu secommunity tinenge tichiona, because kazhinji ukaona nyaya dzinoitika mucommunity, iwewe muridzi wenyaya usati wakuiziva, vemunharaunda vanenge vakutozviziva nechekare. So in such scenarios, what should the community do if they suspect abuse or even assault of someone that they know? Hello, Vege.
Yes, thank you very much, listeners. The problem that we have in terms of abuse of girls with disabilities is the issue of attitudinal barriers. Secondly, cultural barriers and social barriers. They are the ones that tend to affect our community, because people have this belief, this perception that children and girls with disabilities are not human beings per se. Yes.
So what then should they do?
The most important thing is that the parents, I will emphasize one thing: the parents are the ones who should take an interest in the rights and welfare of the children. And then the next thing is that there is need to make a report, like has been said by my friend there, ukuthi khona kumele ba report emapholiseni. There are other channels, there are other avenues. You can report a Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission. You have got the Zimbabwe Gender Commission. Kule nhlanganiso eziningi ezama organizations of persons with disabilities, where you can actually make some reports as well. There are other organizations like ikuthiwa ARC, i-rep clinic le separerenyatwa. You have got the likes of Musasa Project. You have got the Anti-Domestic Violence Council, including our organization. We also take such kind of reports. Yes.
And now the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities states that state parties shall take appropriate measures to protect persons with disabilities from all forms of exploitation, violence, abuse, including gender-based aspects. Where are we as a nation in trying to implement laws and policies that protect girls and women?
Yes, that question is a mixed bag. First of all, well, on the one hand, there is progress. Progress in the sense that we have got a national disability policy that has been put in place by the Second Republic. This policy is in operation as we speak. However, the biggest problem in policy lay yikuthi it's not law per se. It's just but a policy. We are advised that a process that is in place to put together a new Disability Persons with Disabilities Act, which will replace the Disabled Persons Act. So as we speak right now, inkinga ekhona yikuthi the CRPD has not been domesticated. So you find that some of the issues, some of the rights that are enshrined in the CRPD are not yet captured in the laws that we have in Zimbabwe, which then disadvantages persons with disabilities.
Okay. And Norman, what other cases of abuse towards women and girls does your organization handle, or have you handled?
To say maybe the cases that we have handled, the cases of sexual abuse, physical, emotional abuse for PWDs, especially girls and young women with disabilities. Ungakhangela kakhulukazi esimeni esinjengalesi abantu abakhubazekileyo bagcina besiba ngama-victims just because izehlakalo ezinje ziyehlela bona, ikanti kukhona kungesizathu sokuthi maybe it is poverty, yabona. Abantu laba bakhangelwa bananzelelwa, yabona. So those are some of the cases that we have experienced, ukuthi there is a negligence within the people with disabilities. Ngakhangela abantwana abangamankazana abananzelelwanga kakhulu.
And then Begithemba, there is just take us through the process, the steps that one can take in reporting these cases. I'm thinking of a girl maybe who has a mental disability, or someone who is visually impaired. They cannot identify the perpetrator. What then happens in such a scenario?
Yes, in such circumstances, I think the starting point, as I emphasized, are the parents themselves, who are supposed to take time to observe abantu ababo, ukuthi what is their situation, what is their condition at any particular time. Are they in a state of ukuhlukuluzeka? Ngoba sometimes you can tell when a child is happy, when a child is not happy, even though they have disabilities. Okay? So once that has been done, you must be able to check if there's been any abuse that occurred. Try to recognize any form of abuse in your daughter. It could be whatever the situation. Once you have recognized that, the next thing is to then approach the police. Police, there is what we call the victim friendly unit, who are expected to deal with such cases. These are specially trained police officers ukuthi badile lama cases esathi ngama vulnerable groups in society, angithi. And then from there umthetho wona awuvamanga ukukhangela nje ukuthi umuntu uyabona kumbe akaboni esikukhubazeka okwamehlo, angithi. So esesiyabe sesikukhangela khonapho is then the circumstances surrounding the abuse. Remember kulento ezinjengabo DNA testing and forensic investigation, which can complement a report. The fact that one cannot identify a victim is not a bar eyokuthi umuntu angareport. Yes, so we can always assist whosoever takes a report. I know sometimes kuba lokusilela kwama skills kumbe le equipment, but thina siwe there ukuzama ukusiza ukuncedisa ukuthi hayi nxa kuyikuthi umuntu ukhubazekile for one reason or another, asenzeni kanje.
Okay.
Yes.
And someone is coming through our WhatsApp platform. Kuneva chango tibata nguva dzedu dzasvika pana 10 minutes to 9 chirongwa disability factor. Tiri kukurukura pamusoro pekushungurudzwa kuri kuitwa madzimai nevanasikana vane urema, tichitarisa kuti ndezvipi zvinofanira kuitwa pamutemo kuchengetedza madzimai nevanava. Makasununguka kupindawo muhurukuro ino kuburikidza nekutumira mashoko enyu pa 0775 897 makasununguka zvekare kuonawo kutevera chirongwa chino pa Facebook page Radio Star FM Zimbabwe, muchinzwawo nekupawo pfungwa dzenyu pamsoro penyaya someone is coming through our WhatsApp platform anzi vabereki vane vana vane disability ngavangova koshesawo vana ivavo vanenge vamirizhongwa vaifanira kungonoripota pavakangoona kuti mwana ane nhumbu ane urema munhuwo not kuti zvaane disability haana basa. Ndini Sophie Mai Ano Pamurewa. Thank you so much Mai Ano for coming through with that contribution tinotenda zvikuru. Norman, from your observation as an organization anditi lisebenza lamankazana because from the background of the story vaka perpetrator this violence vanhu vari padhuze dhuze my neighbors including young brother wemskana uyo. So from your observation, what are the factors that increase the likelihood of abuse of women and girls with disabilities?
I could say maybe first of all it's a lack of self-esteem, the confidence, and secondly maybe the societal barriers whereby we are these people are not considered as people, you know, whereas you with the myth that they say umuntu okhubazekileyo mawungameza. So for example, people with this with albinism, when you sleep with him, with her, things will be fine in churchy yabona. So with those means, I think okunye yikho kucontribute to that. The other thing maybe ngathi indlala or poverty yabona yiyo yenzayo ukuthi kube njalo ukuthi ama cases are increased, and also the fact that they don't know their rights and they also not able to stand up for their rights. They are not able to speak up for themselves. They are not in a position to say no. So people are taking advantage just because of that. And then you find out kuti these kids were doing it out of maybe okokudlala ukuthi nxa esefike ekhaya sekhuluma ukuthi hayi ngiyenzakale lokho nguzibani yabona. And it happens just because some of these cases they are swept under the carpet. Many cases are escalating of people with disabilities bedlengulwa kodwa nxa ama cases enjalo reportwa akula ngithi a consideration especially to the deaf people, for example, because uzabe zama ukuthi explain ukuthi ungeze so wangenza so yabona kube nzima. Ngithi nginawo.
Okay, and then Begitemba, we then have this scenario legally the perpetrator is also allowed to get bail and really solapana, and then they go back to the community, and then it then further traumatizes the victim. What can be done to really address this issue so that we don't further abuse mentally the victim, while at the same time respecting legally my rights both the victim and the offender?
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, it's a cause for concern, especially for persons with disabilities. Ngoba they are unable to protect themselves most of the time. So the law, in as far as persons with disabilities is concerned, needs to be revamped. Ngasebenzisa ibaleli njalo anjo ukuthi uzothola ukuthi I remember with a case in Chivu where the perpetrator was given bail and he stays within the community, as you are rightfully saying. So it becomes difficult to then protect the victim. So maybe there is need to take steps at state level to find out how best can such issues be addressed. Ngoba kumele kube le balance. Remember ukuthi labo ama perpetrators, they've got ama rights abo kusekelo sombuso, but all the same the victims also must have equal rights which also protect them. So ngingathi mina umthetho in such direction usasilela, awukafiki kulevel esingathi siyayifuna njengamagqwetha akhangela amalungelo abantu abakhubazekileyo. Yeah.
And Norman, from this story phabuda zvekare kuphume njalo ukuthi imuli ithe isikwazi ukuthi umntwana uzithwela nti they did not take any action, they did not report. What then can be done to promote the culture of reporting such cases?
I think what can be done to protect the people with disabilities in such exploitation, parents and caregivers should be made aware that they should report such issues by maybe sensitizing about the rights of the people with disabilities, which labo banamalungelo, and also maybe to advise maybe the law enforcers agents to be maybe more friendly enough, like a VFDU department, ukuthi babe trained enough ukwenzela ukuthi laba abantu bazizwe bekhulekile ukuthi bayakhona ukuya-reporta such cases. Then there should be maybe the communication within the family, in the society, the neighbors, the relatives, on such issues, so that the perpetrators at the end of the day, they are held into account. Yeah, that's what I can say.
Okay, we are fast running out of time. 3 minutes to 9. Chirongwa disability factor nasi tiri kukurukura pamusoro pekushungurudzwa kunoitwa madzimai nevanasikana vane urema nekuti ndeapi matanho avangatore pamutemo. Tanzwa nyaya yemwana sikana ane makore 17 uyo akabatwa chibharo nevanhu vakasiyana siyana kubva munharaunda yaanogara kusanganisira nemunin'ina wake ndikati hanzvadzi yake mudiki kwaari ane 16 years uye mushure mekunge tete vemusikana vaziva kuti mwana uyu abata pamuviri ane nhumbu, hapana zvavakaita semhuri, havana kunoripota kusvikira rimwe sangano ranzwawo runyerekupe rwekuti mwana uyu ari kushungurudzwa, ari kunzwai, vakaita ongororo yavo ndokuzozivisawo mapurisa vakabatsira kuti mwana uyu aende. Saka toda kunzwisa kuti sei tichitadza sevabereki kuti tinge tichimiririra vana vedu, sei tichitadza kuvachengetedza, kuvarwira kungokoshesawo kodzero dzavo. Saka tiri kutaura negweta Vekitemba Mlauzi vanobva kuLawyers with Disabilities, zvekare panhare ndina Norman Mudadisi vanova advocacy officer kuNkomwa Foundation Trust, tichikurukura vatichitibatsira nemazano ekuti ndezvipi zvinofanira kuitwa. Tanzwa zvabuda kuti panofanira kusimbiswa zvirongwa zvekudzidzisa nekuchenjedza vanhu pamusoro penyaya dzakadai nekuvakurudzira kuti kana zvaitika endai munomhangara. Toziva kuti dzimwe dzenguva vanenge vapara mhosva idzi dzinogona kunge dziri hama dzedu. Tinoda kuramba tichisimbisa ukama ihwohwo asi tichikanganawo kuti pane mumwe atotyorerwawo kodzero dzake. Saka tinofanira kuenzanisa tinge tichichengetedza kodzero dzevakaremara, kunyangwe vana vasina urema. Kana vashungurudzwa endai monomhangara. Mashoko enyu ekupedzisira Vekitemba Mlauzi and Norman Mudadisi, nguva dzedu ndo dzamanya. Just your parting shot.
Okay, thank you. Yes, inini ndichataura kuti parents, please take care of your children. They are the future. Disability is not inability. You are oppressing a genius by not taking care of your child with disabilities. Please do your best.
And Norman?
What I could say, maybe parting shot, I would say maybe let the parents and the caregivers report such cases, and the perpetrators should be exposed in all the communities, and also to have a gravity on the issues that affect people with disabilities. Let the perpetrators be given a stiffer penalty when such issues are dealt with. Let's protect the girl child. Even if they have the disabilities, they also have the right to. Thank you.
True, true. That it's quite a sad scenario, because, like Vegetemba said, you are oppressing a genius. I think in our previous episodes we have tried to bring in persons with disabilities who are doing different things, and they are excelling in whatever they are doing. We've brought in musicians, we've brought in people who are doing various things, who are into agriculture, people who are into mining. They have come here and they've shared their stories. We actually even have in the studio Vegetemba Mlauzi representing the secretary, and this is a lawyer. So let's not then deprive vana vedu zvinhu zvavanokwanisa kunge vachiita sekutaura kwavaita kuti they are the future. Let's all strive to protect them. And with that, we've come to the end of tonight's episode of the Disability Factor, and I want to thank my two guests, Vegetemba Mlauzi from Lawyers with Disabilities, as well as Norman Mudadisi, who is the Advocacy Officer at Nkomwa Foundation Trust. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for making time to talk to us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, a special thanks also to my producer Aisha Nyanzunda and the camera person Arnold Bangejano, who is popularly known as Shafla.